Welcome back. Now that we have the detail screen, we need to find a way to get to that detail screen. And in order to do so, we are going to use navigation as we have prepared today already. We saw how we could get navigation running. The thing is, we need to have the nav host. We need to have the nav controller that we can pass to the nav host. We need to have a composable that is the starting point of our application, which is for now the recipe screen, which is fine. And then we need to pass information from the recipe screen to the detail screen so that the detail screen knows what it's supposed to display. And the information that we can pass is going to be the category. So instead of just passing small items such as strings or bools or integers, as we've done in the exercise, we're going to pass entire objects over. And in order to pass a class, sometimes it's easier to just parcelize it. Okay, so basically to make something parcelable, which then serializes it, and we can then deserialize it. But what that means, we're going to cover a little later. So for now, let's really just get started setting up the navigation. Okay, as you see, there's still quite something to do, but what we're going to start with is going to be our category item. So inside of our category recipe screen Kotlin file, we had this category item and we need to modify that. So we're not just going to pass the category to it, but also navigate to detail. So I'm going to say navigate to detail, and I'm going to pass the category here, or a category object, and I will not return anything. So this function should just go over to, basically navigating to the category item. Now, the thing is, we have this column and we fill max size, we have this horizontal alignment and so forth. And what I want to be able to do is, I want to be able to click on this category item. So the cool thing is that composables have this property called clickable. So there is this event called clickable, which we can apply to the modifier, which will be not outside of the fill max size, but inside it. So like this dot clickable. You see, there's this function clickable. So now we can say what should happen once we click on the column composable. So the category item is this entire item inside of our application where we have two items next to each other, then another two items underneath, and so forth. Because what we're doing is we have our category screen with a bunch of category items, right? Inside of this lazy vertical grid, which has two columns. So now we're saying those items should be clickable. Now, what should happen once we click on them? Well, we want to call this function that will be passed to the category item, and we are going to pass the category. So the category that we get from basically here, you see here, that category we're going to pass to our navigate to detail function, and then it will basically navigate to our other screen. Now you see we have this problem with our category item inside of our category screen because it now requires a function as well, or like code that should be executed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the responsibility even a level higher. So I'm basically saying, hey, navigation to detail, let's do the same thing inside of our category screen. So here I'm going to pass that in there as well. So by doing so, I'm just passing the responsibility up a level, because not the category item is going to take care of it, of the actual implementation, neither the category screen, but who will be even higher, a level higher. So it's not going to be even the recipe screen, but let's first take care of this here. So we're going to pass the navigation detail or navigate to detail in here. And now we need to do the same thing for our recipe screen, which calls the category screen. So here I'm going to add another information like so, navigate to detail. So the recipe screen should in the future take care of that. Now you will see that whoever calls the recipe screen now should go ahead and pass us what should be executed. Okay, and we saw that earlier with my app inside of this composable that we created that then took care of the whole navigation. We're going to do the same thing here. So now the category screen gets a view state list, but it does not yet get the navigation to or navigate to detail. So we're passing that in there as well. So basically where we need to know the navigation details, or where we're going to execute the actual navigation from, which is our individual item, is not where it is implemented. So the UI does not take care of the implementation of that logic. It just says, okay, I'm giving over the responsibility to the higher ups. So the category item is inside of the category screen, which is inside of the recipe screen. So now we're passing that up, and now whoever creates the category screen now needs to pass the navigation detail. Now you will see that we get an error inside of our main activity, because here that's where we are setting up the recipe screen. Okay, now the recipe screen needs to have the implementation as to how navigation works. So we're going to take care of that next. And that is what I would say we will do in the next video, because we need to set up the whole navigation implementation and so forth. So let's do that in the next video.